Hello. I'm with a guest host today, Wayla. This is Wayla. She's my black lab. Super, super sweet. She helps me take care of the kids. And she's, for me, qualifies as emotional support. That's one of the reasons I got her. She's a lab retriever. So she is kid-friendly, family-friendly, and she herself is just super friendly and sweet. Her only flaws are she chews occasionally on the kids' toys and digs a lot of holes in the yard. Other than that, she's a good girl, aren't you? Wayla. Yes. She's such a good girl. So she's running an errand with me because I have a little outing alone again, and I don't need to get out of the car, so she hops in with me when I just run an errand. So I wanted to create a vlog today, as I'm still laying the foundation, telling about myself. So the last vlog I made was about family, and today another well, it's a set of words in my logo is mental health. So I wanted to provide, so that's the first set of words in my logo, and that's what's inspired me to make this account, make these vlogs, write, and something I'm definitely very passionate about now is mental health. So where I want to start with mental health is for you to get to know me and my experience with it as an individual. So to understand where I'm at in my day-to-day experiences with mental health, I'd like to share my diagnoses. So I was diagnosed in 2018, so 2.5 years ago now, I was officially diagnosed by our local mental hospital because, surprise, I was admitted to our local mental hospital back in 2018, a month after birthing our third child. So I was taken, that's a story in and of itself, which I'll share one of these days. So yes, even people like me are admitted into mental hospitals. One of the first things the nurse, the RN who was in the first shift that I experienced, I was crying the first morning. I was there in the ward that I was in because I missed my babies. And she was like, it's okay, you're not the first one in here for postpartum depression. There are so many women who come in here for postpartum depression. So I think this is a very real thing to talk about, and to destigmatize, just to normalize and just inform others who otherwise don't know that this exists. This kind of problem exists, and postpartum depression does get that severe. So for me, it wasn't just postpartum depression that admitted me at this point. I was diagnosed with postpartum depression by my obstetrician after having my first and second babies. And there's this mosquito on my face. So I don't know where it went. So part of me, when I slap something, probably myself to kill those mosquitoes. Oh, there it is. I hope I got it. So anyways, nope, I didn't get it. Okay, it flew out of the car. I'm gonna put that window up. Sorry, Wayla. I'm trying to keep that mosquito out. Sorry. So I was diagnosed with postpartum depression after having my first two children. And I was not medicated until a week before I was admitted after my third baby. And even then it was like super tiny dose of Zoloft that OBs can prescribe without problem. So I wasn't medicated. I had resisted medication. with the first two wanting the all-natural route. And I've learned sometimes you just do need medication. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Doesn't mean you're any less than, or you just need medicine. And I do believe that God's given people the talent and the gifts and the abilities to provide these kinds of solutions for us. So I'll talk about my journey to beginning medication in a different vlog, but for the sake of this one, for diagnoses. So I was admitted to our local mental hospital for postpartum depression, and in hindsight now, I understand it was not just postpartum depression. I was living in a narcissistic abuse situation day to day in my household, so that changed things a lot. Our house has never been the same since, thank God. So but those are stories in and of themselves that I'll share at a later date. But again, getting back to my test at the mental hospital, I took to be officially diagnosed, you take a mental exam. And that's what you start with whenever you're admitted, and so that they know what they're dealing with, because there are people who come in already diagnosed with things, but you just never know what's going on with that person at that particular time. So I sat down and had my exam, and their results, they diagnosed me with moderate postpartum depression at the time. And postpartum depression, it can last a few months to a year, or even a few years after having your baby. And I think especially for women like me who've had 4 babies back to back, I'm pretty sure postpartum does affect me. Even to this day, I'm 7 months out from having my 4th baby. So I had moderate postpartum depression at the time, and then I was also diagnosed with MDD, which is major depressive disorder, and then generalized anxiety. So those were my 3 diagnoses at the time. And yes, I'm still very much affected by them to this day. So now you know that bit about me. Speaking about mental health, I myself have depression, I have anxiety, and I have postpartum depression. So a lot of people have depression and anxiety. And a lot of mothers have postpartum depression. Statistics will show that it's like, I don't know the current statistics, but whatever the current statistics are, I always read it and I'm like, no, there's more than that. I think a lot of women just shrug it off as just hormones. It's just what happens after childbirth, but I think it's a lot more than that. And I think a lot more women experience postpartum depression, anxiety, than a lot of other women, or than statistics say, general statistics. So I wanted to share that. So the mental health part of my logo, I'm not just talking about mental health because I'm interested, like as a third party looking in, fascinated by it. Like some people become fascinated with it because they've experienced it. They've lived with it, but they themselves might not have the conditions. They might not experience the conditions for themselves. So I'm somebody who has lived with narcissistic family of origin dynamics. I've experienced narcissism in others I've lived with over the years as an independent adult. I've experienced a lot of different kinds of abuse, sexual, verbal, emotional, mental, spiritual. So, and I believe everybody experiences some form of abuse in the course of their lives. I'll share mine throughout my series, throughout my vlog. And I just wanted for y'all to know that I'm somebody speaking from experience, living it externally, but I also experience this all internally as somebody who's depressed, anxious, and has experienced postpartum depression after all 4 of my babies. So that's a wrap for today. Now you know that about me, and Wayla's gonna say ta-ta to you. Say ta-ta, Wayla! All right, bye, y'all.